Hey team, Jordan here, and I'm with Haniel. I know a lot of you guys know Haniel. He's been an awesome, even mentor to a lot of the students in the WLMA. And you may have seen his data management workflow interview we did when he first joined like 9 months ago. And that was the very beginning. And even through that time, Haniel was able to book some high ticket weddings. And now he's been able to stay relentlessly consistent, throughout this entire time. And 9 months later, six figures, baby. At six figures. And yeah, so before we even jump into the questions, Haniel, how's it been going? How you feeling about the progress?
Thank you, Jordan, for taking the time to talking to me today. And I'm really, I feel privileged actually to be having this conversation with you, because the fact that, you are an excellent mentor, you have led quite a few people into the right direction, into the right path. And I know I was on crossroads when I first started looking at this course, and I happened to bump into your relentless Facebook ads, and I had to see for myself what this was all about. And I'm a kind of guy, I before I pay, I do a lot of research. So for me, it was definitely a game changer at that point. And I said, what can I lose than which I've already lost as much? So to me, it was a game changer. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Uh, I just want to give a small introduction to myself.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Haniel. I joined Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator course about 9 months ago, and within the first few months of running my ads, I was successfully able to book a few weddings through this particular course that Jordan has put together. And it's been 9 months now, and I feel like I've delivered a baby, and I feel like I've hit a six-figure mark in the last 9 months. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm a documentary style wedding photographer here in Virginia area.
This
So
is amazing. This is amazing. And yeah, so I wanted to theme this interview a little bit different because we've talked a lot about strategies. In all the interviews we talked a lot about strategies, content, but when we look at your success in the WLMA, it's really not just about the strategy. So curious, how
right.
much do you believe your mindset had to do with the results you've achieved in your business and in this program?
So I think that's a great question, Jordan. I think mindset has to do with everything. I mean, if you don't have the right mindset and the right attitude, the right way of thinking, basically, if you don't have that mindset that enables you to uncover and see your own problems as opportunities, you will never make it. And you have to be able to see once you see problems as opportunities, and when you turn those opportunities into business, you actually start to see how it works for you. So for me, I was able to take these opportunities and this in terms of mindset, change my mindset into opportunities and apply those opportunities into business to see my results start to flow better. So it has a lot to do with actually mindsets,
Yeah, that's
basically.
awesome. And one thing, I feel like I've learned kind of just through my growth as well is like it can't just be about the strategies. I've always seen it about 50% strategy, 50% mindset because it's like that mindset is your ceiling. It's your
Yeah,
ceiling of what you
absolutely.
actually achieve.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it was more so 80% mindset and 20% strategy. Because without the right mindset, you can have all the strategies you want,
Yeah.
and you can achieve something with strategy, but not a long term.
Yes, that is so true.
So that's the key. I mean, you can have good strategies and have a short victory lived for. But if you want to run that race long term, you have to change your mindsets and then apply those strategies to that mindset to see a long term result, so to speak.
No, I love that. I love that. And I'm curious about this as well. I'm sure a lot of the students are also curious about this. No, I've been able to see you all like literally like shift some students' mindsets. And like when that happened, they suddenly started getting results. And it was such an awesome kind of transformation to see.
Right.
But also curious about you, so was there a time when you feel like your mindset to achieve was not where it is right now. What did that look like, and how did you make those transformations personally in your life?
So for me, it was, I mean, I can relate to every single student that is in the group with every single type of mindset that you are feeling right now. I promise you, I've been through all of those swings of emotions and things like, not feeling good enough or not feeling ready or lack of confidence, being reluctant to charge the right price or a high price, and self-installed glass ceilings,
Yeah.
or maybe you are too caught up in the busyness of life and family and things that you don't have time to go through this course, or just so many things. For me personally, I went through all of these, every single one of them personally, um, to change things around, and it was very difficult because when I first started, I actually was able to achieve based on strategy, but later I realized that my strategies were not working, and then I got discouraged. you
Mm.
know Scripts were not working, so I got discouraged. I was not confident in the things that I was saying, because I was using your script, and
Yeah.
the script works great, but not for a long run for myself.
Yeah.
So those strategies were great, but not for long term. But the moment I started changing my mindset to feeling more confident in the way I do things and starting to feel ready for myself, and I was reluctant in charging the right price, and
Mm.
when I hit that ceiling, glass ceiling, and I shattered that glass ceiling, and I said, I'm not gonna put limitations on myself. I'm not gonna, set a boundaries to where my business can grow and how people perceive me. And when I hit that, I was like, that's it. I mean, I went from one place to another. My transformation moved from, a $2,800 wedding photographer to about $4,800 wedding photographer kind of package. So it was a 2 grand jump in a matter of no time. And I started to see that my brides were starting to actually not bicker with me or ask me discounts for their wedding work, but they were actually genuinely interested in what I had to offer them without asking these questions. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost like that confidence kind of transcends into everything. Every little thing that you do when it comes to how you may reply to someone, maybe that album viewing. And so cuz I kind of know what you mean, because I remember there used to be times where I ran into I didn't make a sale. I would literally sulk. I would like to sulk
Right.
the whole entire day because of the
Right.
sale that I didn't make, and
Yeah.
that ended up seeping through everything that I did. And through the years,
Absolutely.
like when I was able to kind of build a little bit more resilience, be more confident in what I believe my work was worth, I'd screw up that script all the time, like in how I said
Yeah.
things. But because they could see that like I believed like in my product, boom.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wanna actually hit back on what you said about the mindset, and I actually wrote down a few things for myself that I when I hit a roadblock, I actually sorry,
No
text
worries.
messages, but I actually hit roadblocks. So I started writing things and I started self-reflecting. So the first thing that I wrote for myself is I want to put myself in new challenging situations to change my mindset. The best way to change your mindset is to always put yourself in challenging situations.
Yes.
So every time I was put in a new challenging situation, or I instilled myself in a new challenging situation, I was like, wow, my mindset started shifting from point A to point B. And then the second point, and I have 10, I'm just going to read them out to you.
Yeah.
The second was being open to finding a mentor, not necessarily, you know, uh, hire a mentor or sales guru or business guru, but actually finding somebody who is actually being successful in the market, who can relate to your failures and find strengths in you and lift you up. encourage you. So finding a mentor was a key for me as well. And then the third one was thinking of a failure as a learning opportunity rather than a failure. So
Yes.
every time I came to a point of a failure in a script, or failure in my album viewing, or failure in every area of my business, I saw them as a learning opportunity for myself. So I would go back, reflect, and say, oh, how can I learn from this, and pick it up from there and move on. And then one of the key things that I did was I started keeping a record of my proudest moments.
Ooh,
So
that's key.
every time I failed in a certain area, and I would always go back and reflect to the most proudest moments I had in my business, and I would continue to encourage. It helped me encourage myself, because when you're running a business as an entrepreneur, as an individual, I'm sure your neighbor or somebody from an out of state will not come to you and say, oh, good job, buddy. You gotta push
Exactly.
yourself. You gotta excite yourself. You got to that's why when you keep a record of your proudest moment, you can go back and self-reflect and feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
And a few other things, like surrounding myself with top talent in the industry, and finding time to disconnect myself from every single thing that stressed me out. So stress relievers were a great thing for me. Like, I've always said this on other Zoom calls, I love doing woodworking and a couple of other things. So it actually helps me release stress to go out and do things, and develop a simple morning routine. Like you said in your modules, one of the last modules, you talk about self discipline and disciplining yourself in exercising or doing things. A lot of people don't do this, or don't even go through that module. But I tell you, that should be the number one on the
Yes.
list. I'll tell you, if your mind and your body is not in sync, then no matter what kind of business you run, it'll not work for you. You
That is some
have to
deep
have a
stuff right
good.
there.
I'm sorry.
I said that's some deep stuff right there.
It is. I mean, you have to have a simple morning routine. I think Benjamin Franklin once said, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Exactly.
I think that's a key. And I started setting time for achievable personal goals. I always learned to listen to my instinct, and I avoided stagnation. So that's how I changed my mindset when I started doing this course in the last 9 months.
Wow. I think that's awesome. Putting a little bit of my 2 cents in there is, and so I kind of and well, first off, kind of revising what you said a little bit. One, changing your relationship with failure and discomfort.
Right.
Instead of seeing it as a negative thing, seeing that as a positive thing. And two, when you're talking about like reflecting on those positive things, what you're really doing is you're rewiring totally the way your brain thinks. And I used to do that too. I was telling one of the students this is I used to get so insecure before I used to meet up with a couple.
Right.
And like it was like the worst thing, and I realized I can't go into these meetings like this. So I used to do it sounds silly. I used to do what's called like affirmations. And so I would literally, I'd meditate for like 10, 20 minutes before the call, literally saying like I'm the best photographer around. To really like hype myself up, and to really fact where like it wasn't just an affirmation. Like I really started
Right.
believing what was actually
Yeah.
what should actually be true. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what you're saying. What becomes that short term, just the strategies that are short term. Because I've seen people that will get results and suddenly they stop. But when you have
Yeah.
that resilient mindset, that's the long term game right there. Because then you can
Absolutely.
push it to the next level.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the best way to push yourself to the next level is to change your mindset. And if you don't have the right mindset and the right attitude for it, then no matter what you try to do, continued, you will fail through your business, through your personal life, through your family life, through your finances. If you have a spiritual life, yes, you will fail there too. So you have to be in sync, and you have to learn to lift yourself up out of those situations.
Love that. Love that. This next question I have for you, I know this will help for the students, and so one of the biggest mindset issues I often run across is with people is doubt. Maybe that's doubt from imposter syndrome or self-sabotage. Maybe it comes as a small failure when things don't happen magically. They say, this only works for Haniel, but not me. So how would you
Right.
advise to overcome those types of things they're dealing with, and how have you overcome those in the past?
Right. So I think one of the keys that I would like to share, and I think a lot of people don't understand this, but this is gonna break everything that you know about being an imposter syndrome. One, break silence. Break silence. The moment you break silence about how you are feeling, that nothing's working and this and that. I mean, you're saying things to yourself continually. And what you say to yourself continually continues to harness in you. And eventually, somewhere down the line, you are not able to break that because that becomes the foundation of what you believe. So the moment you actually break silence about things that you're going through and about this imposter syndrome, and you start talking with people, start talking to your colleagues, start talking to your family, start talking to your friends, or talk to people who you trust or in the same business, or even come to this group. There are plenty of people in the Facebook group that I connect with, talk to, and the minute they break silence, that imposter syndrome is gone. Like that,
And
you
by
know.
breaking silence, you mean like almost like being aware of it, calling it out for what it is too, kind of thing,
Exactly. Sometimes, and I think what I mean by saying break silence is learn to speak truth. Learn to speak the truth. You may know the truth, or you might be trying to say something that is in you and that you're trying to hide. But the moment you say how you feel, it actually breaks you from the inside. So sometimes people say things, I'm not a good photographer or I have issues, and you keep saying that to yourself. Oh, my style is not good enough. You keep saying that, and that becomes an imposter syndrome.
So
But the
true.
moment you come out and say it out loud to somebody and confide and confess in them, guess what happens? Now you feel like a weight been lifted up.
Yes.
You feel more relaxed and more comfortable, and that's when other people jump in and say, you know what, that's not true about you.
Yeah.
That's a lie that you've been saying to yourself. The best way to fix it is to speak truth to yourself, you know
And it's like
so
once you can call it out for what it is, then action can be taken.
absolutely. I mean, unless you come to a place of recognition, how can you make an action to it? You can't take an action without recognition. So once you recognize, you are able to take a positive or a negative action towards it. So another few things that I felt like the imposter syndrome that I was going through was I quickly learned how to separate feelings from facts. So unless you know your feelings and facts, and when you can separate your feelings and facts, you break that imposter syndrome.
Exactly. Like I
You
don't feel
have
like I can charge this much. I haven't
right,
charged this much before. You know what I mean?
right, yeah. So I mean, yeah, oh, I feel gloomy today. I'll give you a simple example. I feel gloomy today, but go outside, look at the weather. It's 80 degrees outside.
That's
It's not gloomy.
that's such a good
Yeah,
a good point as well, because especially when it comes to like your schedule, making sure you feel good is so important in business, because there are
right,
times where like you're meeting up with, you have to meet up with a couple, but you just feel like crap. Like how do you
right,
expect that album viewing to go good if you're not putting yourself first to make sure you feel good for that,
right,
so
right,
this, even just like the sleep that you do, the
right.
routines that you do, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it all points to everything comes down and points to you at the end of the day. Everything in your business is not anything else but you. So you have to learn to be accurate and positive. You have to be able to write down your own rules, and you have to be able to develop your own scripts The reason why a lot of people get stuck in this imposter syndrome is because they are not very accurate, they're not positive, they don't know how to write their own business rules or game plans for their business.
Yeah,
They are not developing new scripts for themselves. They
exactly.
are always depending on other people's
Just spoon feed
commotions,
it.
other people's ideas. uh, Another issue with imposter syndrome is they can never visualize success. If you can't visualize success, you will be stuck in imposter syndrome. Or if you are not able to visualize success for yourself, that means you right now are stuck in imposter syndrome. You have to learn to reward yourself to get away from this imposter syndrome. And then, one of the key things that I always tell people, especially with imposter syndrome, is they always beat themselves down that, oh, I can never make it here to that six-figure mark or whatever that goal may be.
You've already
Is
lost at that if you want to
Yeah,
say
you've
that.
already lost. In I always tell them, here's a piece of advice: fake it till you make it.
Yes.
If you don't know how to fake it, then you have to get to learn to fake it. And the best way to fake it is to come back and recognize these feelings from facts, being accurate, being positive, write your rules, and then create new roads for yourself, new scripts for yourself, develop yourself, visualize success for yourself. That's the best way to move away from imposter syndrome.
That's so true. And one thing I wanted to kind of take away is that as well is like, and one thing I like to tell people, especially when it even comes to the album viewing and templates, like remember
Yeah.
the psychology we're trying to do, but change it up that works for how you actually like to talk.
Yeah.
And that way you don't feel like you're faking it, because now you can be you.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, 9 out of 10 times people who join the course, and I've seen this in the course of 9 months, is that yes, you've put things out there, but what I have understood is from this course is that you have put a empty framework, empty canvas, which is ready to be decorated and made into a fine art based on how creative you can get.
Love that. Love that.
So you can be your own Picasso if you want, based on this framework. It's how you do it and how you get into it and how much effort you're putting into it. It's not, and I always tell people it's not like a magic pill. And I've seen so many people who come in and have given up because they feel like it's a magic pill that, I eat something and quickly I'm able to get something out. Yes, I mean, there are leads everywhere. I mean, you run an ad, there'll be lead every time you run an ad. But the key is how you convert that lead into a successful business and a brand. And that's something that's best left for your creative idea.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, that's so true. Because how you build that brand, that's when the creativity of like the photographer really comes out, and that's where you get those ideal clients come in. You can't, provide a template for that.
I mean, your ideal client is based on you, not based on Jordan or Haniel or Tom or anybody else out there. Your ideal client is what you want to attract. And the only way you can attract your client in this industry as a creative is based on your creative personality.
Love that. Love that.
And if you don't have that creative personality, I mean, you can take great images, but if you are not an extrovert or semi-extrovert, you will be a great creative, but you will never run your business right. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be a creative, and you also have to be a businessman because you're running a business.
Exactly.
So you have to stand to create good images, and you have to understand how to sell those bloody good images that you took. Two different things.
Exactly. So here's a question I always like to ask people, because I feel like some people get these two words mixed up. So what are your thoughts between the words motivation and discipline? What's the difference to you?
So I don't know if anybody's read this book called 7 Habits of a Successful Person or People from Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey wrote this quote, and he said, only the disciplined are truly free. The
Deep.
undisciplined are slaves to mood, appetite, and passion.
Ooh. That's good.
Right? So if you are disciplined, then you are not slave to your own mood. You know, I have mood swings all day long, but if I'm slave to them, then I will never be disciplined. If I'm slave to the appetite that I have for certain things, pardon my expression if I use this word, whore. Like we whore other people's images all the time. Like we go out and we look at Pinterest and other things, and we're like, oh, our appetites are never satisfied by looking at other people's work, right? So we're going out and we're like just looking and looking and looking, but you are not taking the time to discipline your own self, you know? And then passions. Now, when I say passions, what Steven says is that knowing your passion is different from being passionate about other things. You have to know your passion first before you're passionate about other things, right? So, in a nutshell, what I would like to say is discipline is what to do, and motivation is why to do.
I like that.
Right? So, if you're disciplined, you will know what to do. But when you're motivated, you will know why to do it.
You need
right?
both.
So, yeah. So motivation is the why behind the goal.
Yeah.
It's letting your internal system, internal engine, so to say, you're saying that, yes, I can. Motivate.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. And when the rest of your body is saying, no, you can't, no, you can't. But your internal willpower is saying, yes, you can. Motivate. That's motivation. Yes, you can. Now, and discipline is the ability to correct that behavior.
Yeah.
So self-discipline is simply correcting and regulating your behavior for the sake of improvement so you can be motivated.
Want to add a little bit on that. I think that's freaking beautiful too. And this is one thing that I've kind of learned through my own personal experience. Like even when I was first starting, when I was like working as a janitor, and I just had so much pain because I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. It was my pain,
Right.
that made me motivated. And through that, the thing is, motivation's only short term. And so it was through that pain, that motivation. So pain to motivation, then the motivation that later made me disciplined. And it was through the discipline that made it into a habit. And that's even more long term. And one quote, I forgot the author. He does the book. It's another like successful habits book. He was like, successful entrepreneurs, they're not even disciplined people. They're good habited people. Because now it's not even discipline. It's just automatically ingrained in who they are.
Absolutely. See, for me personally, will is based on the thought pattern or the thinking and the reason to create an action. But motivation is more so to do with the form of emotion.
Yeah.
So, my will and my willpower and my discipline is that I'm creating into action. And actions, when you create a certain action, like, I've joked around with you in the past, like, show me your biceps, muscles. So, you go to gym, you hit the gym 1 or 2 days, you're not going to be able to build that rock solid body.
Yeah.
And that's something that, if you do something for 30 days, it becomes a habit. Right? So your will is the thing that takes you to a course of action that makes you disciplined.
Love that.
And once you are disciplined, then your motivation is that emotion that is within you, that not so manly thing, But like I would like to define it as feminine aspect or the emotion aspect of your body or your internals that actually helps you motivate to go to be that self-discipline continually over and over and over and over. And it actually helps you get back on course when you fall off the path, so to speak.
Exactly. It's like you no longer have to rely like on like going to like some kind of huge presentation to pump you up. Even if you don't feel it, you're just gonna
Right.
do it. You're gonna put in
Yeah.
the work. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So also, Hano, so I guess now, what is one piece of advice that you have for students struggling with their mindset and their business so they can make that shift to get more results long term in this program?
I actually don't have one piece of advice. I actually have six pieces of advice. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. I think that's even better.
So, for those who are taking notes, listening to this call, I think for me personally, this has worked. And I think these are the pieces of advice that I would like to give you. And I'm a kind of person, I write things down for myself because it helps me reflect. So, number one, acknowledge and be responsible. Acknowledge what is going on in your life, in your business, and take responsibility of it. If you don't, the best way to change your mindset in your business and to shift from one place to another is to quickly learn to acknowledge and take responsibility of it. In your business, if you don't learn to take acknowledge things and take responsibility, you will go down south really fast.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Second one is step back from negative thought pattern. If you continue to stay on that path of negative thought pattern, you will always be surrounded with negative people who will discourage you. You will be negative, and every person that you communicate you are only giving them negative thoughts, which means to say that includes your bride and groom. And a bride and groom don't want to be negative. Duh. Common sense dictates that they are excited when they come to visit you, you visit your website or whatever social media platform, because this is an exciting season in their lives. And if they can't relate to that excitement in your business, they don't want to do business with you. So you have to step back from negative thought pattern. Third thing is criticism and self-beating. Stop criticizing yourself and stop self-beating yourself up, because these two things don't work. Elevate your thought pattern away from criticism to constructive criticism, and instead of self-beating, self-reflecting. That works way better, right? Now, number 4, regret and guilt. Stop regretting the things that happened in your business, or the things that you never could achieve or never have been able to achieve, and be guilty for them. Because regret and guilt don't go well together. The moment you feel regret that, oh, you lost this business, you start feeling guilty about it, and then you go back into that cycle of imposter syndrome, and then you have fear, doubt, and all kinds of things start to erupt in you like a volcano. So the best thing to do is not to regret that you lost the business to somebody else. It's okay. That's part of the game. You know, do better next time. Come up with ideas, visualize things for yourself. Then number 5, come to your senses. It's very important that you come to your senses really quick. And I actually want to read a quote from James Thurber, who was an American cartoonist who actually uh, wrote the book The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. If you that movie, he said, "Let us not look back in anger or forward in fear, but around in awareness." When you come to your senses quickly, you're not looking back or in future with fear and anger. You come to awareness around you, which means you're coming to your senses. So it's very important. Don't be angry, don't be afraid, but come to awareness to your senses. And that's the key. And last but not least, regular mindfulness practice. If you cannot regularly practice mindfulness in little things for yourself personally, and then for your family, and then for your business, you will never achieve the right mindset in your life.
Mm.
Never, never. And a lot of people, uh, when they run their business, they get so caught up in their business that they forget to live life with family and friends,
Yeah.
right? What are you going to do with all the money that you're going to make if you have no one to enjoy it with? A
So
lot of
true.
people now may be thinking, oh, I'm alone, so I'll go back and spend, my money everywhere. But that's not the point. The point is that true happiness is not being alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be surrounded by like-minded people who are successful just as you are, and to be able to cherish in that moment with them.
Yes.
That is true success.
Health,
So you
wealth, love,
have,
and happiness.
I'm
You know?
sorry.
Oh, health, wealth, love, and happiness. The
Absolutely, and you
form.
have to be mindful. You have to practice mindfulness. And if you don't practice mindfulness at the end of the day, then it's, what's life anyways?
Exactly.
So that again becomes a deeper question, which is not business related, but the truth of the fact is, at the end of the day, everything that you do and don't do, and as you run business, becomes part of your business.
Mm.
So
Exactly. I was just reading this one meme that everything you put in your head, your eyes, your ears, everything comes out in who you are and what your business turns out to be. I think
absolutely.
those six are so much more powerful than one that we could have gotten. I love it. And especially, if you've been struggling like with mindset and you just guys want to be in a community of people, even Haniel and some of the students, they do these Zoom calls with everyone just so they can help out, inspire each other. And I think that's been an awesome part that I've been really loving seeing as well. But yeah, Haniel, this was amazing. One thing I wanted to mention as well, along with those Zoom calls, Haniel, he's been really awesome with helping other people with their websites. Feel free to reach out to him about that as well. But also, Haniel, where else can the students find you?
They can find me on my website, hanielsingh.com, or they can email me hello@hanielsingh.com. I'm on Facebook, Haniel Singh. So no matter where I am, I'm very consistent with my name tags and my handles, Haniel Singh. Easy peasy. So yeah, you can easily find me, and I usually tend to respond to people in about 24-hour window. And if you've sent me an email or you messaged me and I haven't responded to you, I encourage people to check their junk or spam folder,
Yeah.
because sometimes it just hits the spam. So, that's where I am.
That was beautiful. And thank you so much, Haniel. This was amazing. I know a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jordan, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this course. Initially, when I started this course, I was like, oh, regret. Why did I pay for this? But the truth of the fact is, I'm so glad I was able to take this course and learn so much more out of it, and was able to use your framework to create something more beautiful and something more passionate towards my business and for myself, that I could grow into a better person for myself and for my bride and groom, of course, and my co creators out there. It actually helped me a lot to self-reflect. So again, I just want to say thank you, Jordan, for what you have done for me. I personally enjoy working with this community. It's like a small family to me, and I really, really love it. Thank you.
No problem. It's been a joy to have you with us.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.